So I've said to a few people that I'm going to do a harsh vocal tutorial, so I thought that I'd just go ahead and do it. So basically, I want to preface this by saying that I have no vocal training whatsoever. I'm almost completely self-taught. I've just got some pointers from friends, more experienced friends, and yeah, it's just because it's a fairly new vocal style, like within the last 40, 50 years or so. Um, I don't think there's too much theory out there, like as in like formally studied theory about it. So yeah, basically I'm going to show you how I do it and explain a couple of things about it, and yeah, do with it as you will. But please don't take it as, this is somebody who really knows the ins and outs of how it works and why it works, because I'm absolutely not. But what I do have is about 10 years of experience doing harsh vocals in various metal bands, so I think that counts for something. Okay, so what I am going to show you first is like a very basic harsh vocal using your diaphragm. So what you want to do for that is basically the way I normally explain it to people is when you're annoyed and you do this sort of forceful sigh, so like that kind of thing, you sort of feel that kind of in your throat and kind of in your stomach. So that's your diaphragm that you're working there. So yeah, you want to just get that noise down, that sort of, and then just add some power to that. So like instead of you're going, yeah. And yeah, so and then you can shift that in pitches up or down. So you want to make your mouth into like a sort of O shape to do a low vocal, and you push more from the diaphragm to sort of get the lower vocal. So that's more like ooh. And then with the higher vocal, you would shift it more upwards into your throat. Like basically, a lot of people say don't use your throat for extreme metal vocals. That's like, I don't think that's quite true. Like you've got to use it at least a little bit. Um, but yeah, the high vocals you will feel in your throat a bit more. So yeah, and you're generally gonna make higher pitched noises if you kind of make an ah sort of shape with your mouth. So yeah, so like ow. Bearing in mind as well that you will sound better doing it into a microphone, and you will sound better with reverb on it, almost definitely. Like reverb is your friend as an extreme metal vocalist. Yeah, so yeah, that's like basic exhale scream and growl. There's other kinds as well. So you've got inhale, which I actually learned to do first. So you've got, so I would say the way to do that would be, imagine when you're yawning and you kind of get like a sort of scratchy noise or feeling or whatever in your throat. So like when you're like going, yeah, that would have sounded ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, I probably yawn like a weirdo. So yeah, so like you take that kind of scratchiness, that like that kind of dying sound, I guess, and just manipulate that in your throat. So like, so like I can go higher with inhales than I can with exhales, but I don't think it sounds as good. Like there's not as much power behind it because you've not got like the force of your diaphragm pushing the air out. Yeah, so that's inhale. There's also fry scream, which I've only really been doing pretty recently. So I'm not really sure I'm qualified to teach that one. So like, yeah, like you sort of feel that in your throat a lot more, but it works for like really high pitch vocals, I think. Um, but yeah, I'm fairly inexperienced with that one. Yeah, so those are the main types. There's also the DSBM howl, which I'm not going to do right now because it's 9. It's like, what time is it, in fact? Anyway, it's after 9, and that's particularly loud. And I don't want to piss off my neighbours, basically. um, but I might do a separate video for that one at some point. That's also one that, even though I do it a fair bit in Argesk, it's one where I feel like my technique could be improved quite a lot. By no means consider myself an expert on it. Well, I don't on any of these really. But yeah, anyway, so a couple of tips. The main one is to listen to your body. Everyone's body's different. If it hurts a lot, then stop. I would say that a bit of soreness is normal. So, like, I would say one misconception that you get from a lot of metal vocal tutorial videos is like a lot of people will say, if it hurts at all, stop. I don't agree with that, and most vocalists I've spoken to also don't agree with that. I would liken it to exercising a muscle. So, when you lift heavy weights, for example, or you're lifting weights for a long time, it's going to be sore afterwards. Same thing with harsh vocals. If you're doing harsh vocals for a long time, sustained, you're probably going to get a bit of soreness. That's okay. Just make sure that you rest your voice. Make sure that you drink plenty of water. Honey and lemon as well, I can really recommend. Like, just boil some hot water, put some honey in it, and some lemon juice. Works charm. Vocal Zone is also well worth getting. You can get that from most pharmacies. Yeah, so hope you found this informative. And yeah, any questions, comments, whatever, let me know. Cheers.